Today is Monday, and that means that the pads are on today. Football is back. Real football is back. The pads are on today. So today we're going to talk about a training camp preview, what we heard the most coming out of last week's training camp, and also what we're going to talk about and who we're going to look forward to with the pads coming on today. Because now the running back room actually becomes clearer and clearer with the pads on. So we get to see the complementary nature of RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins at the same time. And then we get to see, can these wide receivers maintain this momentum they had from the offseason into training camp? Can they continue that? Do we hear more about Jahdae Barron and his competition with him as well? With the pads on, we also get to see Dre Greenlaw the first time. Sean Payton mentioned that there are some players that are that much better with pads on, and that he's going to be emphasizing that, as well as Talanoa Hufanga on the defensive side. But also, can that connection with Evan Ingram motioning around in the backfield and Bo's confidence growing and maturity, will that come to fruition with the pads on as well? So those are all the things we're going to talk about today. We are live today. It isn't recorded. We are live today. Welcome to another episode of Orange and Blue Blitz.
Tune in, now it's time to sit. Orange and blue, we never quit. Broncos pride is lit legit. Every week we're bringing grit. Orange and blue, we bring the heat. Podcast grinding can't be beat. Every play, every stop we meet. Blitz so hard it's on repeat. Mile high dreams we elevate. Break it down, we narrate. From the field to the fan debate. Broncos Country, we dominate. We got the passion, we got the drive. Orange and blue keeps us alive. Every tackle, every stride. It's the Blitz where legends thrive.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Orange and Blue Blitz, brought to you by the Orange and Blue Network in partnership with MHRT. I am your host, Isaiah Henderson, also known as the Bronco Gentleman. Welcome in to a beautiful Monday, a hot end of July Monday, the start of pads, the prime of the heat, the middle of the day. Coming out here, sweating hard, working hard with pads on. So we've got a lot to talk about today. But before we do, if you guys are here from MHRT, I need you guys to go head over, or Broncos World Order, I need you guys to come on over and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you are in the running for a Bo Nix jersey when we hit 539 subscribers. But thanks to you guys and this audience, you guys have boosted our subscribership over the last couple of weeks and shot it through a cannon. And we are eternally blessed and thankful for you guys. And we love you guys because we are a fan-led podcast and we are here for you guys. And we love having you guys here with us. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so that way you will be in the winning for a Bo Nix jersey. And if you guys are here from Orange and Blue Network, because we are a family, a network, a community, a world order, if you shall say, go head over to MHRT, our partners, and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch as well, so that way you don't miss any of their shows. It looks like the Kansas City Chiefs just got their left tackle in Josh Simmons. So the Chiefs fans are going to be happy about that. So you're going to want to go ahead over to MHRT Network, check out their show Wild Wild West, and you will see a Chiefs correspondent, a Chief representative there, yucking it up over there. Talking about his nasty Chiefs. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. And it is Monday as well. So we have today's Orange and Blue Blitz, and also we have today's Broncos Bros at 7 p.m. tonight. So that's why you guys are going to want to hit that notification bell so you don't miss that. We also have the flagship podcast tomorrow at 6, Broncos Talk Wednesday at 6, and Vivos Los Broncos Friday at 6. And we have preseason games coming up, so that means the Get Bucked Game Day show will be back. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. All right, guys, the pads are on today. It's here. And I'm wearing my PS2 jersey because he was snubbed, ranked 99 by Madden. Everybody wants to snub PS2 and put a better defensive player ahead of him. But you know what? Whatever. We're just going to prove him wrong again this year. So I'm wearing my PS2 jersey representing, shout out PS2. Best defensive player in the NFL. All right, so last week, training camp wrapped up. And there was a couple of things we all heard the most that really got us excited, and is honestly really good news for Broncos Country. And that was that our young receivers really stepped up and had a really good week. We didn't hear much about the big wide receivers. Maybe you can consider Pat Bryant that, but we heard a lot about Troy Franklin, and we heard a lot about Pat Bryant, but we really heard about Troy Franklin. Nasheed Abdul Kadir in the chat. Bronco Mania, baby. What's up, Bronco Mania? Mile high salute. Yeah, pads are on today. Pads are on today, Nasheed. Pads are on today. And so one thing that I wrote down last week, if you guys remember, we talked about it, was definitely the route trees. And I have it somewhere around here. Where was it? We talked about the development of their route trees. I know it's somewhere. Here we go. And Troy Franklin was definitely one of the ones that I had said, and we said over here on the Orange and Blue Network, that outside of Courtland Sutton, the route tree is very diverse. Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims maybe have the least diversified route tree, but Marvin Mims' route tree has expanded. It is expanding, which is one thing that we're definitely hearing coming out of the training camp. Mark from Georgia. What's up, Mark? Long time. How you doing, bud? What's up, dude? How you been? My hot salute. Me, just working. Just trying to, putting out some Broncos content. I just started streaming too, so that's pretty cool. Just playing some video games. I think I'm definitely going to start streaming some Madden too. So if you guys want to hop on and get your butt beaten Madden, you're more than welcome to hop on and we can play. So let me know your handle, and I'll put mine out there, and we can hop to it. But just working with everybody else, getting ready to enjoy the Broncos. Mile High Johnny, he says, "What's up, brother? Pads are on. LFG. What's up, Johnny? Yes, the pads are on. We get to see how the running backs look. But love you guys in the comments. Back to the topic at hand. We were talking about the route tree that's developing, and so we saw that Devon Bailey has we know what Courtland Sutton's route tree is. Courtland Sutton's route tree are digs, overs, the deep ball, out routes. He can definitely run some comebacks, but that's nothing he does the most. He can definitely run a post route. That's not what he does often. Devon Bailey's route tree is very diversified. Not as much though. He's definitely good at post, slants, out routes, zone routes. He's really, really, really good at the scramble drill. Devon Bailey is really good at the scramble drill. And Marvin Mims' route tree last year was definitely some tunnel screens, some swing passes, and a deep ball. But I think it's going to be more diversified with some out routes, some curls, some slants, some posts, some corners. He's definitely going to increase and expand. But Troy Franklin was definitely the one, and he was the key to this. And this is, Sean Payton said before we were able to, fans were allowed out there that, hey, you're not seeing some of these plays that Troy Franklin's making, but, he's having a good offseason. And it's just continuing with the fans out there. He caught a nice deep bomb from Jared Stidham. So it's just continuing and hearing that continuity, that year two jump, that confidence that Bo Nick said that Troy Franklin is having. And his route tree is really, if he can pick it up, he can run any route in the route tree. And one thing that Benny Fowler said that on DNVR was that his speed is really, really underrated. And we're starting to learn that. And so that's we're starting to learn that and see that. And the pads are on. So we're really going to be able to see, is that going to continue even with the pads on? Hey, when the cornerbacks can get hands on you, when the defense is expanded a little bit, when there's hitting and tackling again, you have to run across the middle. Now you might get thumped by Dre Greenlaw. Can you still hold on to that ball? And that's where I think Pat Bryant is going to come in because he seems to be everyone's favorite target, regardless of who the quarterback is. And Sean Payton said he's a Michael Thomas guy, and Drew Brees was, hey, Michael Thomas was always open. He wasn't the fastest guy, but he was always open. He's got strong hands, good footwork, very mature for his age. And so he's coming in making an impression. And so I definitely think that for him, it's just going to be trying to get snaps. I think this year he could play the Not the same, but a type of Troy Franklin. Like I think this year he'll have the snaps that Troy Franklin had last year. Troy Franklin didn't have many snaps, but when he was on the field, Bo Nix tried to go to him. I think he'll do that. I think he could take some of the little Jordan Humphrey snaps, especially with blocking. So that's something we're going to see as well. Has Vele, Troy Franklin, they've all gotten stronger in the offseason. So does that translate to their run blocking? Pat Bryant said to be a good run blocker. Can he continue that in the NFL and get himself some more snaps? Let's check out the comment section. Mark says, yeah, it's been a minute. You and Johnny Baki are the best. Hey, thanks, bud. Maha, salute to you. We appreciate that. We love you, and that's a great compliment. Johnny, I hope you heard that, bud. Mark said we're the best. David Yuckin in the chat. What's up, bud? He says, sucks for Drew. He never got a chance to show how good he could be. Yeah, it seems that, maybe switching him between different positions and having to fluctuate his weight, maybe having to change of direction and learning different things his body couldn't keep up. Because when you go from outside linebacker to inside linebacker to outside linebacker, you have to gain weight for that. The drills you do change. The stretches you do change. How you contort your body changes. How you think changes. And so when you switch like that and you move to the NFL and switch like that, you get an injury, and then you try and bounce back and go to inside linebacker. So now what are you doing? Now you're losing that weight. Now you're not moving the way you're training your body the way it was before as outside linebacker, the bend, the rush. And this time you're going back into inside linebacker where sometimes you have to be a little bit steady on your feet. You have to be quick and react instead of the first reaction you have is when the ball is snapped as an edge rusher, whereas inside linebacker, your first step isn't just to sprint. It's you have to be light on your feet and you have to react quickly in either direction. And so that fluctuation of weight, fluctuation of change in movement can definitely cause injuries. And it seems like, his time with the Broncos was probably done. But that means that gives a chance for my guy who's a sleeper. And I was just watching some film on him before we came and went live. But there's a guy who I believe if he doesn't end up starting this year or getting significant snaps, he will be the starter next year, next to Trent Greenlaw. And I'm going to give a shout out to him before the end of the show. Mark from Georgia says, Bo Nix has been working with Tom House and Drew Brees. That's good. That's really good news. Yes, Tom House also worked with guys like Dak Prescott. And if you see some of the videos on Twitter, Bo Nix warming up, he's definitely doing some Dak Prescott warm-ups. So you can see that offseason training coming out in the warm-ups and how he stretches his arm and how he gets those movements going. And I think that brings together that marriage of Drew Brees and Tom House offseason brings together mental and physical. So you got the physical of Tom House with the mechanics of the arm, the throwing motion, the warm-ups, and then you got the mental of Drew Brees with the film study, with the Sean Payton offense going over the playbook. And you've got that marriage in the offseason. And I think that, like we said, the number one thing that we're going to look for in year two improvement for Bo Nix is a completion percentage increase and an interception decrease. And I think both of those things can help with that, especially year two coming into the same offensive coordinator. Let's see. Mark says, haven't seen too much of Sutton, even though he's there. It's kind of like he's bubble wrapped, I guess, because of the contract talks, my guess. Possibly because maybe a little bit of the contract talks. I'm not hearing much of that. I think because he's a veteran, he's a little bit older. He's important to the team. Just like Mike McGlinchey missing those last 2 days, but he's out here in full pads, so we got a few days of rest. But here's pads on, so that's Bo's number one guy. But it could be, hey, we're just gonna keep him safe. We're gonna play it smart. So if this is what it takes to stay one of the top two healthy teams in the NFL the last couple of years, so be it. So that's that was the training camp preview. So now that pads are on, what are we looking for today? What are we looking for today? So one of the things that's definitely going to really show itself is the running back room. And so I saw a video of let's see if we got any updates. I saw a video of J.K. Dobbins running out into the field. And he's definitely got some size on him. He's definitely stocky. And he's taller. He's taller than RJ. But RJ, for his shortened stature, is very, very fast. And so people always forget RJ Harvey runs a 4.40. He runs a low 4.4. and low 4.4. So anytime at any moment, that 4.40 can be plus or minus 0.02. So that could be a 4.42 or it could be a 4.38. Because it's such a low 4.40, he may end up being, he could possibly be, at training camp or at practice or off season or on the field running. To say he breaks out run, he could be running a 4.38, but in the combine, he ran a 4.40. But he's also short and stocky, so he can run in between the tackles. He's definitely a really, really good receiving back. I can see that already. So this running back room is very, very interesting and how it's going to play out. And this is the paths where I think that, in my opinion, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to surprise the team at first and surprise Broncos Country. I think he's going to bring a pop to him and a consistent pop to him that we haven't seen from the running back room in a while. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be Dre Greenlaw on the defensive practice who's going to kind of put a pop back and kind of set the tone for the defense. I think the offense is going to punch him in the mouth first today with a really, really revamped run game with Evan Ingram and all that. I think the defense is going to respond. But if I had to guess, I think this would be an offensive day because the defense just they're got some new pieces in the middle and in the safety. They've got Jahdae Barron. And they're not used to a Sean Payton offense with a really good run game and a really good tight end. And so that's something that's going to be new. So I think Bo Nix is going to come out and pop him in the mouth a little bit. And I think Dre Greenlaw is going to have to set the tone and respond. But it could be Talanoa Hufanga. I think one of these new guys are going to come out there and set the tone and kind of get the defense going. Mark says, did you catch the comment to Bo Nix made about being on the top 100 players in the NFL? If you haven't, you need to check it out. This kid is something else. Yeah, he said he's humbled and he's appreciative of it, but he wants to be the best in the world, and that his drive, his thought process of not being good enough for his guys is what drives him to be better and better and better and better. And his teammates are saying that. And I think, we had a prediction on here, and even though the stats that have predicted are outrageous, even though I think the scores are a little off too, I think they're going to score less. The defense is going to put up, the offenses against us are going to put up less numbers. But I think he's going to take a year two jump. And I think out of all the year two quarterbacks, I think Bo Nix is going to have the biggest jump. That's not necessarily saying he's going to be better than Jaden Daniels this year, but I think he's going to have the biggest jump. We've heard J.J. McCarthy struggling. Actually, you know what? I think Drake May could take the biggest jump, but I think Bo Nix with this, depending on the injury situation and the health situation of both the Broncos and the Commanders, Bo Nix could be the better quarterback. I think that's just because of his work ethic, his coach, and the new additions to his team. I think that's definitely going to be good. So, yeah, the run game is definitely going to be one that we're definitely going to see here early on with the first day. That's what we're going to see early on with the first day is how the run game looks, how the running backs are looking. Is this offensive line truly what it says it is? Has Luke Wattenberg not only gotten better at his snaps, but has he gotten better at run blocking as well? That was one of his things that he needs to improve on was run blocking, but fortunately he has two good run blocking guards. But is this offensive line really worth their salt? Because if they are, then the run game should be very successful with these new guys. And so that's going to be very, very interesting. It's something that we definitely need to watch for. That's definitely going to be very interesting. So let's see what we got to update. Hey, all right, just like I said, all right, guys, we got an update right here. I'm reading on Twitter so far. This is what we got. So real quick, guys, the Christian Wilkins situation has been updated. If you guys have been paying attention. So on the Pat McAfee show, Adam Schefter said he playfully went to kiss a teammate on the top of his head, and some people have said that the player took offense to it. So that is what the situation is with that. Raiders falling apart. We always cheer for that here on the Orange and Blue Network. So some Raiders bad news. We want to project that here. Okay, so here we go. Bo Nix finds Evan Ingram on his first pass of team period. So that Evan Ingram-Bo Nix connection is continuing. Laser pass from Bo about 15 yards in the middle of the field. Evan Ingram secured it, but would have been massive collision with P.J. Locke right there. So we're starting to get that connection with Evan Ingram continuing. Here goes another report on the run game. Rookie running back R.J. Harvey made a heck of a cut in a run-heavy team period, use some oohs and ahs. Sean Payton said the Broncos will be back to their day one install today for this first day of pads. So heavy. Luka Evans reports very run-heavy first team period of the Broncos first day of pads today. R.J. Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin made some standout jump cuts. Caleb Lohner seeing a lot of action in 7-on-7 too. Zach Stevens reports R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins both look smooth in their first day of pads. It's going to be a very competitive competition. So just like we said here, like I said a few seconds ago, it's going to be run heavy. You know, we're back in pads. Sean Payton said he's anxious to see how his running backs look. So it's no surprise that we came out looking run heavy. And that's where I was thinking about that R.J. heavy because he's very strong. He's very well put together, but he's very quick and he's very fast. And that can be very deceiving to a defense. Because you think this, you know, he's running straight at you, and all of a sudden he can move laterally very quickly, and also he has a burst that's extremely fast. It has one of the fastest in the combine is that 10-yard burst. Punter news: Jeremy Crawshaw continues to destroy the ball while punting. What's been impressive is his accuracy has continued to improve. So the Australian bomber has been doing some good things. So we got some J.K. Dobbins running a wheel out the backfield. So if you guys go follow Anthony Nguyen, last name Nguyen, Nguyen. So shout out to him. He's got some good Broncos training camp content. If you guys want to go over there, see some content. So there's J.K. Dobbins running out of the backfield, a wheel route, nice catch, throw by Bo. This is R.J. Harvey. Yeah, he's really fast. Good hands. He's got to change that number. And there's Jaleel. So we got some good content coming out. The pads are on. So yeah, the run game is definitely going to be one thing that we're definitely going to be looking forward to with that. So that's just some training camp updates. So one thing I said that we were going to get to today was there was one guy that I originally said was sneaky was Chris Abrams-Draine. But unless there's a surprise training camp cut, I think he'll be special teams mainly. But there's one guy who I think that's going to be special teams this year and may be a training camp darling and preseason darling again this year. That's Lavelle Bailey. That kid is tough and he's good. He's smart and he's athletic. And he was also a captain. And so I see why Sean Payton and George Payton drafted him. And he seems like actually they didn't draft him. He's undrafted. And I see why he definitely looks like a potential another Zach Bond that Sean Payton found and George Payton found. We already know he's good in pass coverage. You see the reports coming out of him getting PBUs. He always finds himself around the ball. He's very smart in pass coverage, very instinctual. But my thing was his run defense. And so when I went back and I was watching film on him at Fresno State, he's very fluid in his movements. And he's not deceived easily. He's very fast. He's very good downhill. He's very technical in his tackling. And I'm constantly impressed. So last year he had his pick 6 in the preseason game and then made the team, the 53-man roster. And then this year he's making noise again. And so right now it's Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, Justin Sternad, and it was Drew Sanders. But because Drew Sanders is injured, Lavelle Bailey slips into that linebacker 4 spot, and that also may leave another roster spot for one of these other undrafted free agent linebackers who've been making noise. So I think with him becoming linebacker 4 and with our inside linebackers starting inside linebackers recovering from injury, but they're currently healthy, and their lack of preseason play. And our inside linebacker depth is good this year. That's not a word. Our inside linebacker depth is really, really good this year. We're going to see a lot of Justin Sternad and Lavelle Bailey this year. And those are two guys. Justin Sternad's been on the Broncos for 5 years now, I believe. He's been in this system for 3. Lavelle Bailey's been on the team for 3 years. This is his 3rd year. And he's been in the Vance Joseph defense. So you have 2 guys who are going to get a lot of reps in the preseason. Justin Sternad started most of last year, and Lavelle Bailey knows the defense as well. And so I think we're really going to see a battle. We could see a battle between those 2 for linebacker 3. We really could see, and I think Justin Sternad will have it because he's the vet, and he started last year, so we know what we're getting. But I think Lavelle Bailey is really, really athletic. And I think he's a diamond in the rough. And I truly believe if he doesn't end up starting this year with Alex Singleton on his last year, with Justin Sternad on his last year, with Drew Sanders possibly 1 foot out the door, I think Lavelle Bailey on his undrafted rookie contract could be starting next to Dre Greenlaw. And I think with the other undrafted free agents and possibly the draft next year, we'll come and fill in with some young guys. And so we'll have Lavelle Bailey, maybe Justin Sternad signed here again. Who knows? But with I think Lavelle Bailey could end up being the starting linebacker for the Denver Broncos, whether or not this year, but definitely for sure next year. All right, guys, that's just a quick live show that we've got today. Don't forget, guys, to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends and family. Go ahead and follow MHRT as well, guys. And don't forget our shows this evening. Tonight at 7 p.m. is Bronco Bros. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. is Nothing Rhymes. Wednesday is Broncos Talks at 6 p.m. Viva So Broncos at Friday at 6 p.m. So you guys aren't going to miss that. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Go get on Twitter, go get on social media, and go catch up with some Broncos stuff. And you guys aren't going to want to miss the show tonight because we're going to talk about it again. So I appreciate you guys being here. A mile high salute. We love you all, and we will catch you tonight.
We can find